In today's episode, our guest is Kyle Paul. Kyle is a Hollywood actor. So let's talk to him about his experience in this country and in life in general. So, Kyle, welcome to the podcast. So, how is India treating you so far?
I can't exaggerate that enough. I love this country. I have lived all over the world, like China, Beijing, Hong Kong, uh, Singapore, Russia, South Africa, and this is by far the favorite place I've lived away from my family.
So, what makes you love this country so much?
100% the people. It's not the people I love. I don't love the heat. I don't love the traffic.
I do realize that in terms of the heat and the traffic, it can really be taxing here in India.
I've had a couple of bad experiences in India, but I've had so many more good experiences that I forget to tell people about the bad experiences. For example, literally my first day here, I got off my plane and a guy in an Uber shirt walks up and he's like, Uber? I'm like, yeah, Uber, great. So he leads me past the Uber stand into the parking lot. And I'm like, all right, this is fine. This is whatever. I start loading in my luggage into his back seat, and a security guard comes running up out of nowhere. And in his broken English, he was like, fake, fake, no driver, no driver. And so I'm already really nervous about being in India. Like we have some stereotypical images of what India is like, and scammers is part of it. And so I start pulling my luggage out of the back seat. At that moment, these fake Uber drivers started wrestling with a security guard and being a little violent with them. And about 10 seconds later, 6, 7 more security guards run up, and all these fake Uber drivers like just take off. They run away. The security guard that started wrestling with these guys had a bloody nose. Like, this security guy, he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to risk his physical self to make sure I wouldn't get scammed. Just scammed. Losing however much money. That was it. People are going above and beyond to just make sure I'm welcomed.
That's what being a human being is about, yeah. Taking care of another human being. That's all. And I believe that transcends beyond a race, transcends beyond color of the skin, transcends beyond everything. That's just pure, simple humanity at play.
Not to say all of America is bad. I love America, but in some of the areas, I mean, hell, New York literally has a rule on their subway that says if you see something bad happening, say something. That's literally like posters all over the subway because people are so used to just keeping their eyes down.
Overall, anybody, and it's not just you. I've had so many friends travel from abroad. Overall, their experiences with people, and I'm very specific, with people, have been really good. Of course, there are issues with infrastructure, there are issues with traffic, and cows on the road and that kind of stuff. But people, yes, as you said, as you very rightly said, people, they are more than worth.
We have that stereotype. I don't know if you know this, but we have a stereotype of middle-aged women, like 50-year-old women, that like get divorced or they've never been married and they're finding themselves. It's finally time to find out what they love and who they are and what they want from life. They come to India to do that.
There was this movie called Eat, Pray, and Love, I suppose. Julia Roberts played that character. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And before I came over to India, I would make fun of these women, the
Okay.
stereotype.
Yeah.
But since being here, I'm like, every time I pass like a white woman on the road, we just nod to each
Okay.
other like we both know we found somewhere great.
What are your few of the best experiences in the country and few of the worst experiences in the country? I mean, things that we can improve upon, maybe.
If I had to be sincere, the things I struggle most with in India are poverty. Seeing the mothers on the side of the road with just a tarp over their head, that hurts me in the heart. On the other hand, I also see these women just smiling big and playing with their kids, just like anybody else. I had the conversation with the guy, and I'm like, "How is it living under it?" He was like, "My family's together, and we have food and a place to stay. What else should I want?" They have their priorities right. They know the most valuable thing in this world is your family and your loved ones.
That gives a, what to say, perspective. That gives you a different perspective towards life. It sort of gives you a reality check as well, and teaches you to be grateful for things that you have.
I would say the only place where I think India is truly lacking is like public transportation. As in, Mumbai is a very rich city, and to earn money here, you have to live here right now. There aren't any subways or express trains where you can live You can live 50 kilometers away, but you can still get here in an hour.
I do understand your point, and that's true. I mean, we need to work more on developing the suburbs and having good connectivity. So that is a work in progress. I personally believe the biggest problem with our country currently is the population. Okay, and end of the day, those 1.45 billion people will essentially put a lot of pressure on the infrastructure requirements. We should have done better in terms of our population control, but somehow we didn't.
I can't even imagine being a government worker and trying to keep up with that massive of a population boost. The roads, the water, the electricity, the food. Can't even imagine.
And then we are growing like anything. Matlab, I remember just around a decade back, we were like 1.2 billion or something. Now we are around 1.5 billion. I mean, I don't know. So the pace at which we're continuously growing and growing and growing. So of course, the government is having a hard time catching up.
Beyond that, I don't know this country well enough to actually say these things are good things and bad things. It's the fastest developing economy in history.
It is the fastest developing larger economy amongst the larger economies. It is definitely the fastest developing. And I have personally, I mean, having been born and brought up here, I have personally experienced the transformation in the last, say, 25 odd years. I've seen this country changed, changed beyond recognition. Had you been to India 25 years back, we probably would have matched up to your, stereotypical image of land of snake charmers and all. But now we certainly are not that. We have moved far, far, far beyond and far ahead. What about Indian food? What have you enjoyed so far, and what's your favorite?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of masala, and it seems to be on everything.
Even I'm not. I mean, a lot of Indians are not. Yes, but yes, Indian food tends to be a lot more spicy here.
But by far, my favorite food, and I didn't know this about myself, has been vegetarian dishes like vada pav.
Vada pav. You like vada pav in Mumbai? It's Mumbai's staple food.
I love it, love it, love it. Every time I pass somebody on the street and I see that little vegetable burger, I'm like, yep, I'm gonna get that every single time. Coconut chutney, coconut sauce. I love that so much. I love that so much.
Even I love that so much. I mean, whenever I'm having South Indian food, I need a complete full bowl of that coconut chutney. Yeah, I can do without sambar, but I need that full bowl of coconut chutney.
I definitely am trying to figure out how to take a big jar of that home with me or how to make it myself. I keep asking all these lovely aunties, I'm like, what was this recipe? And they're like, nope, it's a family recipe. Come on, just give it to me. And they never do.
That's fairly simple. I'll have my wife send it to you. Don't worry.
Please do. Please do. That actually makes me excited.
Yeah, I will do that. You'll get it. Don't worry. I'll have my wife send it to you. Don't worry.
I guarantee I'm going to be having like a hamburger and putting coconut chutney on it. I'm going to be having pizza, coconut chutney. Like it's. I know I'm going to go overboard with it.
Have you traveled to any other part of the country, or you just been Mumbai so far?
I've been to Goa. India seems to be trying to make Goa like the this is where you vacation place.
Yes, so that's how it has been for India. Goa has been a party place for the country, as you can say. Maybe it's the national party place. I don't know. Everybody in this country who needs to party needs to travel to Goa.
I went to Hyderabad.
Hyderabad, I suppose you're talking about.
I went there for a couple of meetings, film meetings, and I mean, I didn't know this until I got there, but that's the biggest film studio in the world.
But yeah, that is the biggest film studio that we have in this country, yes.
I was a little shocked that no matter where I go in India, it's the same hospitality, it's the same welcome, it's the same encouragement, it's the same pat on my shoulder. And everywhere I've lived in the world, I've been invited into people's homes twice. In India, I have been invited more times than I can possibly count.
True. I mean, you are, what to say, you're a foreigner, obviously, so you find it a little surprising. I have had experiences where strangers, I like biking, so I do ride my bike a lot. So I've had strangers insisting that I go to their home and have a meal with them, and and then their family also treating me like not like an unwanted guest, but just like genuinely happy to see me and feed me and feels like home. I mean, I never felt out of home. Worked in a lot of other countries as well, so I do realize this is an India specific thing. I mean, we kind of take it for granted. I believe that's how humans have to be. That's how humanity has to be. But yeah, that's an India specific thing.
That's exactly the reason why I am going to try and make being in India part of my life the rest of the life.
And just to add to your invite list, you are most invited to my part of the country. We call it Rajasthan. It's a land with the biggest of palaces and in forts?
I've been saving all my contacts as with the note of where the person is from, just because I very much want to meet these people that have been so kind to me as I go to these places.
Thank you very much for taking your time out, and we look forward to seeing you in Indian web series. So, even though there might be a struggle to find work as of now, I would request you to just be persistent, just stay here and keep making efforts. I'm sure you will get uh, jobs that would do justice to your talent, and we would really want to see you in the Indian web series. And then I would be able to tell my friends and my people that Kyle was on my podcast, and he's the guy. So I look forward to that.
And when that happens, I will be on your podcast again.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy, and would love to have you. And anytime you plan to travel to Rajasthan, that is, do let me know. You have my number. I would love to host you. And of course, you will soon be getting your coconut chutneys recipe.
Thank you. That was the best part of this. It's the good.